Hello, I'm going to show you how to make a N-type connector for, of course I dropped the connector, or part of the connector, the ferrule actually. An N-type connector for LMR-500 Superflex, which we're using. Why it's a bit different than the other LMR videos that you'll find online is because it's super flexible. Hence the name Superflex, or Ultraflex. I'm sorry, I was saying it wrong. Ultraflex. So it's very flexible cable, and this cable is pretty similar to the LMR-400 that you'll see most places. So of course a 1/2 inch in diameter, requires LMR-500 crimping tools and trimming tools. What I have found is that the jacket is not as rigid on the Ultraflex as it is on the, and I kept saying Superflex, Ultraflex as it is on the standard cable. So I'm having a little bit of trouble making this work. So kind of going old-fashioned and using a little razor knife. In the installation instructions, it says trim the cable dimensions as shown using the CST-500 prep tool, which is this. Careful of avoiding nicking the grade, removing a residual plastic from the center conductor. So I'm going to actually do it a little bit different than the instructions. So I'm going to put the heat shrink tubing on first. Then I'm going to put the ferrule on. Then I'm going to try, and I know that doesn't sound very optimistic, try to use this to at least strip down the center conductor. I'm not confident that I can use it for the I'll think of it, for the outer jacket, just because the cable's so darn flexible and it seems to give us a lot of trouble. Of course, always follow your safety. This particular cable, as opposed to the easy connectors, since it's a stranded center conductor, as you'll see when I strip it, we're actually going to solder on the solder pin. So I know that soldering is a bit of a lost art form. I do recommend, I've got a solder station right here, little Ryobi battery powered one. You could plug it into regular AC outlet, but I'm going to use it battery powered because typically today we're in my garage, hence the car, but I'm going to actually use it out in the field to make the connector. So of course you put in your LMR-500, you close down on the cutting tool, cut it all the way around until I get all the way down seated. Go one extra time until it comes off. Maybe. Oh, no, I boogered it up. So I'll put on my non-cutting glove, or non-cutting hand with a glove, just so I don't accidentally cut myself. And take that off. So that should be very close to the distance that we need for that. But then when we flip over the cutting tool, of course, as you know, that didn't all come out, so take that out, and then we will try to use the cutting tool on the other side, and we've got to cut that back. So the first cut was 6.35 millimeters, or 1/4 of an inch. And that's roughly that distance, and I do have a ruler. Take a ruler, measure from there, and yeah, that's right on the line. 1/4 of an inch. I always use a metal ruler in these kind of situations. But yeah, so with this, should strip it back the correct amount. But like I said, I've been having trouble with this Ultraflex and stripping. So let's see. It looks like it's working for me right now, so that's really good. And the nice thing about this tool is once it hits home, once you see that center conductor hit right there, boom, you know you've trimmed it back. Yeah, see, it's not looking good. It's just kind of wrapping it all up in there. Let's see if our dimensions are correct. Once again, we'll put on the glove, cut off the the jacket. It does give us an idea of the dimensions. And we can see that that is 20.95 millimeters. So let's take a look in millimeters. So we go from there, and that's about 20.95. I don't know, I'm sure you can't see it, but if we start there and go to there, it's about 21 millimeters. So that looks correct, so that's good. So I'm gonna just try it out because I know it won't be right, but I'm gonna just, so they don't recommend, honestly, that you flare it back like that, but I did it just because I want to be safe. So I am going to tin this very lightly, very, very lightly. So it's very flexible cable. We're gonna hold on to it. Slide our vise here. What we want to do, of course, is hold that steady. I always recommend an electronic soldering. Don't use pipe solder. So you want a 60-40 alloy solder, and then we're just going to tin it ever so slightly. I hope. There it goes. So that's a lot of cable. I don't recommend using some large high wattage soldering iron for this kind of work. You'll see a lot of people coming around with the biggest soldering iron they can find. I don't find that advantageous. I think actually doesn't work really good. Do have a broader tip, which might be a little bit better. And of course, while I was doing that, I dropped my center pin. And I can see from this angle it's not fully tinned. Okay, I don't know that you can see that, but there's your little weep hole on there that you can actually add more solder to. So pair of pliers real quick so I don't burn my fingers. I'm trying to apply that, and I'm going to turn up my heat just a skosh. Okay, and you can see it come down. All right, and then I'm going to add some more solder. I'm not going to get it on the outside, because we don't want it to touch the center conductor. I recommend letting that cool off for a minute. That was pretty hot. Took a lot more heat than I would have thought. So that's your center pin on there. Snug. And then the solder is shining, so that means it's not cold. It's literally not cold, but not a cold solder joint. Because a cold solder joint will lead to failures later. So the important thing is to do it right now. After we're done making these connectors and connecting the antenna, or possibly even before connecting the antenna, we'll do a voltage standing wave ratio check on it. Even maybe before then, we'll do a quick impedance test, or not impedance test, but a resistance check, just to make sure that the soldering or the heat didn't go through and touch that foil, which could have damaged our connector, so, or our cable. So once that's home, we can see our center conductor clearly through there. You didn't have to bring that back the braid like I did. It's been a while since I've made these connectors, so I'm a little bit amateurish. So you want to get the crimpers as close on that ferrule to the top as you possibly can. Of course, not crimping the top. That makes a very nice hex crimp. Center conductor looks good, and then it comes with the heat shrink, and I'll shrink that up real quick here. I'll bring that back just a little bit. I'm using all battery operated tools because I will be out in the elements installing these. I won't be in a place with power very nearby. Okay, so this one wasn't too tricky. This is the LMR-500 Ultra Flex with a N-type connector on it and with a soldered center pin. So there you go. Thank you.